Greatness flows through his veins, and I said it all year long. He should go one in the draft ahead of Cam Ward. Preached to my choir, and as I preached to Mel's choir, then Mel went off on draft night when he slid and failed to be taken by the entire National Football League, including Tom Brady's team. What was it, 5 times? Tom Brady's Raiders could have drafted him. You can't tell me that Tom Brady didn't say no to Shedeur. Shedeur, sometimes mentored by Tom Brady. I think that was all for show on Brady's part, but sometimes mentored by Brady, actually reminds me of Brady in his feel for playing the position.
Skip Bayless talks about Shedeur Sanders destroying his haters. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Tonight, Shedeur Sanders made the entire National Football League look like a whole bunch of petty fools. In some cases, racist fools. In many cases, deion despising fools. Tonight at Carolina, Shedeur Sanders made all those teams that had 143 chances to draft him before he went 144th. He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns, who finally took him in the 5th round. I'm convinced only because the owner, the publicity-starved owner, just wanted some more shock value publicity. Oh, we took him because he knew what would happen, that the national media would descend on Browns camp, make it a story that might distract the rest of the world from the mess that Jimmy Haslam has made of the Cleveland Browns, especially after he gave $230 million to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, as far as racism, I don't know about that, but definitely something going on with the draft by Shedeur falling to the 5th round. Something could be up behind the scenes. And then that contract that they gave out to Deshaun Watson, that was terrible as well. But either way, Shedeur played a great game, considering that it is preseason versus the Panthers. But to be thrown out there, still played decent. 2 touchdowns, 14 or 15 completed passes. So he showed that he can at least play within the flow of the NFL and their offense. But it is preseason. He still has many miles to go until he can become a starter, but he's on the right track to success.
Good Lord, have mercy. I said before last college season started that Shedeur Sanders should go number 1 overall. It was either he or Travis, 1, 2, 2, 1, and I would go every time with the quarterback because he is the quarterback. He is him. He is the son of the greatest cornerback and, to me, the greatest athlete ever. Greatness flows through his veins, and I said it all year long. He should go 1 in the draft ahead of Cam Ward. My friend Mel Kiper began to echo, not me, but just echo that emotion, that point of view. I had Mel on my show, the Skip Bayless show, ahead of the draft, and Mel stood tall and strong for Shedeur. Preached to my choir, and as I preached to Mel's choir, then Mel went off on draft night when he slid and failed to be taken by the entire National Football League, including Tom Brady's team. What was it, 5 times? Tom Brady's Raiders could have drafted him. You can't tell me that Tom Brady didn't say no to Shedeur.
Again, something definitely is up with Shedeur in that draft. Was it some type of NFL collusion going on with the owners? The way that Shedeur coming into the league, flashing Rolexes and APs. Maybe people didn't like that. Maybe he had to get humble. He does sound humble in these interviews, or maybe he was already like this. But yeah, definitely something going on, and I can see why people are confused that he didn't go number 1, or especially a top 10 pick. Maybe Cam Ward goes 1 and the next available team drafts him. But either way, man, Shedeur Sanders, he has a lot to prove, and hopefully he can use that as motivation.
They didn't like his attitude. They didn't like his interviews. And I kept saying, watch the freaking tape. You could just watch it on TV. As you saw again tonight, I was not at all surprised by tonight at Carolina. Shedeur can flat out play the hardest position in sports to play. He can flat out play quarterback with poise and command and touch and accuracy and toughness and clutch toughness. There was no tougher quarterback in America the last 2 years as he played for Colorado with little to no protection the first year and only below average protection last year.
Yeah, Shedeur is definitely tough. You got to think that O-line at Colorado was trash. He got hit a lot and didn't suffer any major injuries. So he at least showed that he has the physical capabilities to really hang in there and take punishment. Now, on the NFL level, it's going to be players that are much more stronger on that D-line. Hopefully the Browns have a solid O-line. Maybe what they saw yesterday, maybe they'll invest a little more knowing that Shedeur can possibly be a starter sometime this season.
Shedeur took a beating and just kept jumping up and making another completion. He led the nation in percentage of completions. He led the nation. And I kept saying, what is not to love about Shedeur? Arm strength? Are you kidding? Did you watch him at Colorado? He has effortless arm strength. He doesn't have like a Josh Allen cannon, but who does? Did Tom Brady? Heck no. Shedeur, sometimes mentored by Tom Brady. I think that was all for show on Brady's part, but sometimes mentored by Brady, actually reminds me of Brady in his feel for playing the position. Tonight didn't surprise me at all because Shedeur Sanders, thrown into the fire for the Cleveland Browns, who now have 6 quarterbacks in camp, but only 2 healthy? Tyler Huntley and Shedeur. They had to play Shedeur because they had no choice. And you can't tell me that Kevin Stefanski, it sort of reminded me of John Elway and John Fox back in 2011 with the Tebow that they did not want. They inherited Tebow from the Josh McDaniels regime. Josh took him 5th overall. I said I'd take him at the bottom of the first round, just let him run his college offense, and he will win games, will Tim Tebow.
Yeah, again, shout out to Shedeur. The media tried to make him look like a victim only because he kind of got thrown out there in this preseason game. But it is preseason. He didn't play with the first team in practice, but who's going to play a lot with the first team in a preseason game? You're mostly going to play with the third and fourth team. So he showed out, played good. Couple passes are kind of suspect because even though he was able to get that touchdown to that receiver, I don't know if you're going to be able to make those throws in a regular season game where you got veterans out there 5-10 years that are known to pick those passes off. But either way, you can nitpick about certain plays with Shedeur. He had a good little floater pass, the one-handed catch by the receiver. So he showed he's a playmaker. He can get out the pocket, get a first down. He's not the fastest quarterback, but he can make plays on his feet. Shedeur Sanders looking good out there.
And in his second year, after the team fell to 1-4 and they didn't have any other choice, they sort of said, well, let's let him play at Miami. He'll fall on his face mask, and then we can tell all those Tebow zealots out there, we gave him his chance. He can't play. It's over. And Tebow goes down and wins it in overtime in Miami, and the rest is obviously AFC West history because he took those Denver Broncos all the way to the AFC West title. And Shedeur is much more talented than Tim Tebow. Tebow was a force of nature, but so is Shedeur. Did you see how the team responded to him tonight?
Yeah, Shedeur is much better than Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, he's more of a power quarterback. Could have been a tight end if he wanted to. So you can't really compare Shedeur and Tim Tebow. Now, as far as college success, yeah, Tim Tebow, he was a legend. But just as far as pure quarterback, Shedeur Sanders is much better than Tim Tebow.
He left after 3 quarters and, 45-ish snaps, I think it was. It's a lot of snaps for a preseason game. But did you see how the team responded? He looked so comfortable. He made them comfortable. He has such great body language because his father is Deion Sanders, Neon Deion, Coach Prime is his father, his teacher, his coach from 5 years old up was Deion Sanders until now. That was the first game he's ever played without his father coaching him. And he looked effortlessly comfortable. He showed you the whole repertoire. He's got a deep bag. He can make all the throws. Threw 2 touchdown passes in the first half to Caden Davis. Remember, Shedeur got thrown into a fire with very few training camp reps. Certainly he got, I think, no first team reps. So he starts the game with second and third teamers, and the first two series were against Carolina's starting defense. And Shedeur winds up throwing a touchdown pass to Caden Davis, who's bounced around the league as a former undrafted free agent. He can run a little bit, but he throws a touchdown pass. Dropped a dime between three defenders to Caden Davis for the first touchdown, and then he goes back later to Caden Davis on a blitz pickup by his back where Shedeur has to slide right, plant, throw, low laser. Doesn't have an arm. Did you see the low laser? Did you see the mustard on it? Did you see the velocity?
Yeah, he got accuracy, pinpoint. He got a speed ball. He got an arm, especially in close proximity. He's going to get it to receivers and tight ends. So Shedeur showed the intangibles, showed he can move around the pocket, create a little bit more time so his receivers can kind of maneuver out there on the field. So Shedeur showed everything that he needed to show so far, that he's a capable starter. Hopefully he gets more preseason time. I think it's about 2 more preseason games. So hopefully he at least get a couple quarters in. You got Flacco, he's out. Pickett, he's still injured. So there's no reason why he shouldn't at least be behind Joe Flacco as far as the second QB on the roster.
Hitting Caden Davis right there just above the turf. Touchdown number 2. Led him on another long drive in the third quarter for touchdown number 3. 21-7 it was when he left. He can win a lot of football games. He looked to me a lot like a number 1 overall pick tonight because that's what he should have been.
Yeah, he looked great out there.
It was the biggest disgrace in the history of the National Football League that somehow the sheep-think NFL wanted to teach Shedeur and in turn deion a lesson for how he interviewed. I don't know, how he handled it, how he carried himself, that he was the highest paid NIL college player ever. He had a couple of luxury cars. He had the Rolls and whatever else he had. He had a Tesla. He had the Tesla Cybertruck. Yeah, he earned it. Did you see the stands in Boulder every time he took the field? There was a lot of deion, but it was a lot of Shedeur. He showed you against high-level competition, Big 12 competition, again and again and again without protection. He can throw it as sweetly as you want to throw it, any way you want to throw it.
Again, man, Shedeur Sanders, the way he came into the league flexing with all the money, all the NIL deals. Of course, the owners probably felt a certain way about it. I think we all know that now. But either way, man, he got to keep this up. This is preseason, even though he played against a little bit of the Panthers starting defense. He's going to have to really show it, hopefully, if he gets an opportunity real soon, maybe the first few weeks of the season. But as long as he doesn't take any hits in preseason, no crazy injuries, he should be on point, ready to go for a potential starting job. If Joe Flacco's still kind of hurt when the season starts, don't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders starts getting some more snaps with the first team in practice. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders for destroying his haters.